Welcome, man, to the Playmaker Podcast. John, man, how did you feel with today's episode, making it?
Hey, I feel like it went pretty well, but the topic of trials, that's always a tough season, tough time of the year, for coaches and players and parents for that matter. And depending on the level, of course, too, it can get pretty intense. So, but we hope that everyone took something from it and learned, and just think about it's all about perspective. You can look at it glass half full, glass half empty, whether you made the team or not. It's all about perspective.
Hey, I had fun making today's episode, man. Yeah. Really great time. So some of the things you can look forward to in this episode, right, are just looking forward from the player's perspective. Coming into tryouts, what are some of the things you can do to give yourself the best chance of making the team? What are some of the coaches looking for, right? What are we looking for in evaluation when you're coming into those tryouts? And some of the things about, hey, if you don't make the team, how can you be resilient, right? Building that resiliency, some of the things you can do after you don't make the team to give yourself the best chance at success for the next tryout for the next season. So without further ado, let's go. We've all been there before, at different levels. So let's tee it off, right? From a player's perspective, what's one of the things, right, that goes in your mind as you're approaching tryouts? What's some of the thoughts that are in your mind as you're going to tryouts?
Yeah, going into tryouts. I remember for me, especially my first tryouts in ninth grade, I was nervous. You didn't want to mess up. You didn't want to make a mistake, which is you're not gonna be perfect. I think that's unnecessary pressure on yourself because that's not realistic, and a coach knows that, right? It's not one play that's gonna stop you from making a team. Stop me from making a team. So, so there's of course nerves, but nerves can be a good thing. It means you're ready. You just keep it under control, right? But at the end of the day, it's just basketball.
Man, it sounds like a lot of managing expectations. You know what I mean? It's kind of hard to simulate that if you've never been in it. So as a former coach, what are some of the things you're looking for? All right, kind of some coaches they'll say, "Hey, I'm looking when a player comes in right straight from the parking lot." Right? Well, we say that, but what does that actually mean?
Yeah. So that's a real thing. I'm looking when I get in the gym, or get to the gym rather. I'm looking to see who's doing what before trials even start. So trials will start at 4:30. I'm looking to see who's there at 4. Who's stretching out. I'm seeing who's kind of goofing off. It already just sets a tone to their approach. I'm seeing your approach to trial. Before you even step foot in the gym. Some players will be stretching, maybe doing some ball, maybe doing some jumping around. Some will just be having some quiet time by themselves. So nothing wrong per se with either approach, but I just like to see who's doing what before the test.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like these lessons are kind of like disciplines that you need as well for life, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so you speaking of that being early, right? We're talking about being on time, right? And then utilizing our time well. A lot of people say, hey, we don't have a lot of time for stuff, but we do. It's just how we manage that time. All right. So, what are some of the things you think that can make give the player the best chance of success? Some of the things that you think they can be doing before they walk in the gym.
Yeah. I think stretching out. Already shoes tied, stretch out, do your own stretches on your, getting yourself loose, getting ready. Put the phone away for a little bit. Get some mental clarity, before you go into trials and all, and then just be ready.
Okay. So speaking of mental clarity, what's one of the things that you do for your mental clarity? What's one of the things that your approach to that?
To tryouts?
Yeah, just mental clarity, right?
Or just in life in general.
Yeah, life in general.
Yeah, life in general. I try to get up early, get up before my kids get up, before my wife gets up, before the day really gets going. Just have my quiet time. That's huge for me. I need it at the start of the day. Or if I'm driving in my car, having that quiet time as well. Nothing, no radio, no cell phone stuff. No, just quiet time.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What are some practices? What are some disciplines that you have in place that kind of help you with that as well?
Well, I think it's the same thing. Just that quiet place, going somewhere. I remember when I used to, like at my old house in Illinois, I used to go in the closet. You know what I mean? That was my spot, man. Find a space in the closet. Whether I'm praying or I'm meditating or just things like that. What are some things you think that can help? Just some resiliency pieces, right? Like, what is making you more resilient, right? Like, how can you be resilient once you get this sign of rejection? Because it's easy for us to say, John. Hey, if you say, hey, you're cut from the team, right? I'm taking that 'cause I'm not good enough. So, what are some things you think that I can do to get out of that way of thinking?
So, I think, like anything, it's all about perspective, right? So, glass half full, glass half empty, right? But just the wordplay and how you word it. Someone can come in this gym and say, I'm coming to work out, or someone could word it and say, hey, I'm coming to get right. Same thing, just two different perspectives, two different wordplay. Working out could get a bad connotation to it. You know what I mean? Man, work, okay, working out, man. All right, or it'd be, hey, I'm coming to get right.
Okay.
And I had to take that from my own personal standpoint as far as hitting the weights, getting my body right. From a physical standpoint, I had to change it, man. I heard something Steve Harvey, he was like, he had to change his approach to his verbiage. He said, hey, it's now I'm coming to get right.
Okay.
Hey, I'm going to get right. So say there are tryouts. Like, I'm not good enough. Yeah, no. Hey, I'm my time is coming.
Okay.
Not yet. So just that word play, it's not anything personal.
Okay.
It's a moment.
Okay.
It doesn't define you, and it doesn't define your relationship with the game, because the reality is some people who don't make the team, high school team, middle school team, whatever, man, they can still have a career within the game of basketball.
Right. And there's no greater, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, speaking of, there's no greater example than what Michael Jordan, right?
Of course.
He got cut from his high school team, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, going myself right now.
Look.
I'm no Michael Jordan in the least bit. I got cut from my freshman team. Went out. Coach came to me, man, at tryouts. Was like, hey, we don't have enough jerseys. I'm like, the biggest excuse in the book, right? You know what I mean? He told me we don't have enough jerseys for you. So here I am. I'm friends on the team, man, making it. I'm a part. I'm doing all these tryouts, workouts over the summer. First thought went in my mind, I'm not good enough. So man, I went. He said, hey, you know what? If you can come, you can be around the team. You can film the games. You can help with the equipment and things like that. I'm like, all right. I just want to lock in and be around the team, right? So I utilized that, man. I picked up on drills, right? I seen how they work, right? I seen the workouts, man. So I'm talking about, like, literally, right? I'm working out every single day, doing these drills, picking up things. Next year I went out, made the team. Now I'm no Michael Jordan, but I still went out and I told myself. So speaking of that, what do you think about the premise of what I tell myself matters? Okay, because like when I sat there, I'm telling myself that, hey, I'm not good enough, right? I don't deserve to be here, okay? So when I changed that thinking, I deserve to be here, okay? You know what? This wasn't my moment. So what do you think about that statement?
Ooh,
What you tell yourself matters.
Man, you just said a lot. You just said a lot, Kobe. From one, commend you for your grit, to just, hey, I wasn't invited to the room. I didn't make the team, but I'm gonna get in the room.
Okay.
Somehow, some way.
Okay.
So if I gotta be the custodian,
right,
that's mopping the floor, I'm gonna get in the room.
I'm getting in there. Okay.
You got in the room. You was the videographer.
Right.
I'm gonna get in the room. I'm gonna learn this. So next year, I'm gonna be invited to the room and make the team. Man, there's so much to be said about that, coach. So shout out to you.
Appreciate that.
That's huge. That's big. And that applies to anything in life. I'm sure that has carried you through other trials, tribulations in life. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Remind me of what you said, the quote of
like what you tell yourself matters.
Yeah. Woo.
Right, yeah.
So I kid you not, Sunday we're at my home, and we were just it was me, my wife, and Yana. We were sitting at the table talking, and I was talking to her about this right here. What do you tell yourself? Like, I was talking to her about that 11 p.m. talk with yourself, that little voice, or that 5 a.m. talk to yourself, that little voice. Not when everybody's around, not, friends around, social media, no. What do you tell yourself? Like, what are you telling you? And what's the standard for this? What's that little voice telling you about you? And because that's really where we draw our confidence from, or what we believe about ourselves. It's not about, and we can do all these good things, yeah. But what are you telling yourself at midnight hour?
That's a good question.
And we told her, like, you gotta have some type of mantra or scripture, something that you stand on and you don't compromise on. For me, Philippians 4:13. That's why this was founded on that. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. I didn't know how to do a business. I never seen nobody in my home or that I knew on a personal day in and day out level had a business. I didn't see it modeled in front of me, so I didn't know, But I do know this. I do know, I can do all things through Him who gives me strength. So we figuring it out on the way, but it's leaning and trusting, depending on Him. You know what I mean? And that's that midnight talk. It keeps me going. Lord, it's through you. There's days that are more difficult than others, yeah. But that baseline is still that baseline, So, man, that's heavy.
That's big.
That's heavy, man. Whew.
That's big, man.
Yeah.
That's big. Man, well, John, man, like I said, appreciate the time, man. Appreciate doing this, man. This talk has been great, man. So we just we just hope that some of the things we said today, we hope it give you a little insight what maybe some of the coaches are looking for, some things you can do to prepare yourself, to give yourself the best chance of success. If you didn't make it the first time right, remember what you tell yourself is very important. It matters, like we're talking about today. Going forward, all right? Keep at it. Keep working. And we hope you enjoyed today's episode. So from the Playmaker Podcast, from your host, Nate, and we got John here, we just want to thank you for tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you. Go give us a like. Go subscribe to us on YouTube, John Harris Basketball. Follow us on all social media platforms. And we're out. Let's go.